Welcome to Portals of Perception and to IHOW episode 9. IHOW stands for Internal Human Orchestra Work, where we explore practices and ways of engaging the many inner lives to bring them from the frazzled, disjointed states we often find ourselves in modern living into a more balanced, more integrated, more harmonious state where all parts are recognized, are acknowledged, and are brought to play in the symphonic arrangement that we feel called to produce in any moment in time. It's just a recognition that the human is not one thing, one voice, but many voices. And that often life stretches us in a different direction and we find ourselves disjointed. And here in the IHOW explorations, we seek to bring those different parts into greater harmony. We just recorded IHOW 8, in which we began an exploration of subtle sense organs, and specifically the many natures and the many levels of touch, physical touch, magnetic, energetic touch, and mental, filamental touch. And we described in the introduction to IHOW 8 that in addition to looking to produce well-being, balance, greater harmony, and attunement to the whole human system, we brought additional 4 layers of context and awareness. Number 1, the need to, the calling to awake, to be awakened to the subtle sense organs beyond the ordinary usage of the 5 senses. Number 2, bringing the overly conceptual, overly based in one abstraction on the top back into integration in the body, not losing the capacity to be conceptual, but rather bringing it inside the more of the whole human experience as a balancing, as an integration move. Thirdly, the need to attend to a balancing, perhaps integration, perhaps redemptive move that has been so emphasized in many of the ancient traditions, both in the East and the West, that because of the conditions humans used to live in, essentially offered a pathway to transcend, to escape, to bypass the carnal experience into some kind of an altered, advanced, luminous state. And we observed that this was perhaps the best approach back then, and that today there are 2 dimensions of awareness. First, it creates problems because when people go to these states but are not ready to integrate in the whole human experience, there is actually an imbalance that is created. They expand and then they implode or collapse because there isn't an integration that brings that advanced state into a fuller embodiment in the totality of the human experience. And we also observed inside it, there is now a developmental process, a spiritualizing process that is coming online to do with a shift from an old epoch to a new epoch, in which it actually wants us humans to show up as the whole human that we are, not just the mind, not just the advanced luminous state, but the whole integrated person that we can be. And the 4th move, the 4th context was how so much of what's current in this moment in time is the advent of AI agents. And the techno-utopian vision that looks to delegate our cognitive capacity and function to computing power and the capacity to do predictive analytical projection of large learning models. And we instead, in a defiance to that, are claiming that there is a human machinery that is so much more profoundly subtle in its capacities. And by exploring what we're exploring in IHOW, there is a reclaiming of the human capacity to sense and feel, and to not delegate our humanness into the mechanical processing of machines and of computers. So we added these four as we launched the exploration into the subtle sense organs. What we are bringing to this IHOW episode 9 is with something that we started earlier in an earlier episode with Rita, even before we launched IHOW, and now we're going to bring it into IHOW. And in this exploration, we're going to use the capacity of the mind to sense and to feel, as we explored with a filamental touch in IHOW 8. This time we're going to bring the IHOW touch and feel of the space and the energy field around us, and we're going to couple it with the capacity of the mind to produce imagery and to create a particular frequency nature by seeing it, by visualizing it inside our body, inside the aura. And by way of offering a brief of how to use this exploration, you can follow my narrating guidance closely if you feel drawn to do so, especially if you do it for the first time. Or you can let the narrating voice fade in the background while you're exploring, more listening to your inner guidance even than to my voice. And you can also alternate between those two focus, do a bifocal, listen a bit to my narrating voice, a bit look at the screen and see what we're all doing, and then go inside. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you listen inside, whatever way you feel into it. And then as we go through the exploration, let yourself also zoom in and out between these two capacities, these two sense organs of the mental faculty, which is to sense and feel and to touch, almost touch in that way that we explored in the last episode, and also image, visualize, and create. Let yourself toggle and swing between those as you feel guided. We are each wired differently. We are each a unique configuration, and each person will find their way into it in their own cadence. So anything, any awareness from anybody just before we move into the practice, please? Okay. It sounds like we are ready to make a transition. So we're going to step away from being close to the camera and create for space for ourselves, and let us begin. Let us explore the discovery of the nested self practice. In this practice, we are going to go through three main phases and explorations. In the first part, we will sense into the aura, the energy field and to the edge of the aura and invite specific hues and colors to accompany that visualization and let ourselves feel what it feels like. And then we will bring up a visualization of a smaller you, that's the nested self, a smaller self that occupies a space, a safe, protected, and closed space just in the area above the diaphragm, in the area of the solar plexus. And we can feel that ecology, that space inside the body, and you may discover that it extends beyond the inside to the space around you. It's going to be a discovery that I will guide us through. And after we do that, we will bring a third dimension, which I'm going to be describing as the adaptive self, and build that image right here in front of us. And what these are energetic dimensions of ourselves that we can bring to life, we can sense into, we can explore. And the intent of the nested self practice is to build and cultivate a greater sense of wholeness, a greater sense of intactness, a greater resourcefulness and versatility and sense of well-being and confidence in all that we can do in life, and how we are well equipped to attend to all the requirements and meet all the opportunities and challenges of life. That's the purpose and the intent of the nested self practice. Just going to take a deep breath and find the center. Let any tension anywhere in the body, your feet or in your knees or in your torso or in your back or in your shoulder or in your arms, let yourself just relax and may move any part that wants to be moved, and just create for yourself a space internally and around you to move with freedom and with ease. Okay. So to begin this, let us reach out with our two hands and the two index fingers pointing all the way to the top. Actually, with not just the index finger, all the fingers. We're going to just begin this by sensing in the aura. So we explore more the energetic touch, but let's just explore a little bit. We explore that more in IHOW 8, but let's explore this just a little bit with touch. What does it feel like inside the energy field, to the two sides and to the front? And you may come a little closer in the space around you, and then you may reach all the way to the edge, and let yourself feel the different regions, different spaces in your aura. Some areas are more tingly, and some areas are more magnetically inclined. The energy field has a bit like we inhale and exhale and bring new oxygen with every inhale into our lungs. The energy field has its exhale and inhale, where it pulls back the new energetic impressions. And exhale and inhale. It does so every 7 or 8 or 9 seconds. So now we can reach again all the way above the head and explore in any possible direction. Try to reach as far as you can with your hands. And when you do, note with your mental touch, with the filamental touch, with your mind, that actually the edge of your energy field goes beyond what you can reach for with your hand. It expands further out. Right? Wherever you can touch, your energy field, your aura actually extends beyond that. Okay, so we're now going to begin to bring into this exploration the awareness of color. And so if you were to just play and explore in the space around you, in the mid-space, and sense that this space has a very light, almost see-through pale blue, a bit like the blue you see in the sky, but not the deep blue, the light see-through blue, and travel with your hands to see that entire space around you in your aura has these different hues of blue. In some areas, it may be richer, stronger blue. In some areas, it may be more see-through, almost transparent blue. Just let your hands explore. And you may see other colors, of course. You may see hues of yellow, and you may see hues of pink or gentle see-through saffron. There may be all sorts of different colors that you could sense in your aura. I'm inviting you to bring in the expansive, cool nature of blue. Light see-through blue. And now let us one more time reach all the way above the head and bring your mental reach, your filamental touch, let it reach a few inches beyond with the reach of your fingers to the edge of the aura. Of course, the aura can expand a lot more, but we're going to paint there a good 15, 20 centimeters or more to the edge of the aura. You may feel that your aura expanded and it's much larger, in which case, fine. And let yourself visualize that blue in the interior layer of the auric sheath. That can be a richer blue, or it can be a see-through light blue, or it can be a very bright blue. And this first layer of the inner layer of the auric sheath represents and holds the planetary qualities that you are cultivating and have intentionally sought to develop. So by painting this blue at the edge of your aura, you're creating a filter. And that planetary nature, that planetary quality holds, for example, your determination, your resolve, your capacity to renew and go on. Okay, so we are now seeing the auric sheath in its inner layer, enveloping the space of light blue around us, enveloping possibly with a little stronger, richer blue, holding the condensed, crystallized formation, thereby filtering of your planetary self, the planetary qualities you have cultivated, you are cultivating in this life. Forgiveness, versatility, resolve, determination. Just let yourself stay with this image for a moment. And let us now reach with the image of our thoughts with a filamental touch just beyond that layer of blue, and see that enveloping this layer of blue, there is a see-through, almost transparent, bright violet, different hues of violet enveloping this. And you may see these colors and hues in your own way, and let yourself be guided in the way you see it. And there is a thin layer of this violet enveloping the blue. And what the violet represent is the universal processes, the universal qualities that you're cultivating. Perhaps we have names to describe them, perhaps we don't. They represent the permanent lines of value and the permanent lines of vitality that supports life throughout the universe. And so you know that there is a part of you that is universal and that filters what supports life in the universe. And you see that in your auric outer layer enveloping the blue. Let your arm relax and just stay with this imagery for a moment. You're standing inside a blue space. It's alive, it's shape-shifting, it's breathing in and out, has an interior auric sheath with blue enveloped with violet. A see-through bright violet. And now I'm going to bring my hands again all the way above to reach with my thoughts, with my mind beyond the blue and the violet to one more outer layer that expands, and it is almost colorless. Perhaps it has a bit of a whitish, colorless with flavors of silver and gold, plasma-like aliveness in that filter. And what that third layer, that filter represents, the inner represented your blue qualities, the middle represented, the violet represented the universal processes, and that third see-through whitish silver gold plasma-like holds the creational processes that you are connected to. almost guaranteeing, offering you the confidence and the assurance that you're never left alone. You're always in some way connected and joined and tethered to the larger creational process. So just let yourself stand inside your energy field with these three layers, and let yourself feel how it expands. Some days that may be all you want to do. Some days you may feel you just want to do the blue layer and you don't need to do anything else. And that may be the practice you would want to use in the morning before you go into your day, or at some point during the day, or later as you close the day before you go to sleep. We are now going to bring one more dimension to this picture. So you are standing inside your energetic space, and now you can imagine just above the diaphragm, in the area of the solar plexus, a space, an ecology that expands inside your body into the area, again, just above the diaphragm, in the area of the solar plexus. And you can see there an image of yourself, a smaller image of yourself energetically. In actual fact, there is a hologramic energetic you inside that space. And let yourself listen and attune and direct your attention and with curiosity to discover how are you seeing this nested self. This is the nested self, lives inside the protected enclosure of that space you have right in front and inside the solar plexus area. You may see that it has similar hues, similar colors in the aura, or you may see that it has different hues, that you may experience there additional purple or brilliant saffron or stronger violet, or whatever colors you see, let yourself explore. And what this nested self offers is the confidence that you can always come back to yourself. You go about your day, you do things, you respond to pressures and requirements and needs, and always at the end of the day, you're gathered back to yourself, to your nested self. And it can sort out what belongs to you and what doesn't belong to you. And as you make space for that nested self, can you feel that it has its own sovereignty? You have your own sovereignty. You are your own person. You're free to make choices. And what the nested self affords you is the confidence that you are self-governing, that you have the capacity to self-regulate, to be agentic, to set your direction. Just let yourself explore how you feel towards having that trusted, faithful, steady, confident, nested self, always there waiting for you. And we're now going to bring one more dimension. If you were to imagine just here in front of you, in the middle space in your aura, a third image may look similar to the nest itself, and it has freedom. It can move about. It has freedom. It can move about. And it is the adaptive self. And it has a silver thread that connects it to the nest itself. And what your adaptive self does, its function is to afford you the flexibility to respond to any situation, to any need you encounter. So let yourself play, because it has that versatility and it can stretch further out and come back in the middle. It has that flexibility, and the unique capacity of the adaptive self is any person you interact with, it becomes a little bit, in some small portion, a bit of that person's way. It integrates so that you can be in a dialogue with another person. It's the same idea that we discovered, that actually when two people speak with each other, the neurons in the brain mirror each other. Well, the adaptive self does this energetically to help you communicate, to help you create shared understanding with any situation at work, in your family, anywhere you go in the world. Your adaptive self has a chameleon property. It reconfigures to help you meet the requirement of that moment. And let yourself feel the experience and the relationship and the conversation and the mutual sentiment between the adaptive self and the nested self. The adaptive self is experiencing the support and the confidence that the nested self is always behind to back it up, to offer its support. The nested self is appreciative and grateful that the adaptive self of you can go to places and can be versatile and reconfigure to meet the requirements of whatever circumstance you find yourself in. Okay, so in a minute I'm going to ask Rob to play us some couple of minutes of music as my voice will fade, to let you explore these three dimensions of your being. The energy field around you with a blue, violet, and a see-through, almost tinge of white, tinge of colorless, silver gold, plasma-like edge. The planetary, the universal, the creational, the discovery of the nested self, the discovery of the adaptive self. Let yourself explore of how you have the capacity to see these different dimensions of who you are, and see what you feel and what turns up for you with each of these dimensions, and perhaps let yourself appreciate the multifaceted nature that you are, physically, energetically, mentally. A miraculous can become human life. enjoy the discovery. Rob, please take us out with a couple of minutes of music. That was quite beautiful, Rob. Thank you. Anything to offer from anybody about this exploration? Any notation, any insight, any guidance to people practicing this with us now and into the future?
So as we were exploring different parts of this, because often I feel pulled back to be just one thing instead of the multiplicity at play that then works in a unified way. And the suggestion from our last practice, when we were feeling into the hand, not only the physical and the energy, but then allowing that to be full with the energy of the life and the mental part of it, the filamental part of it. So I was playing in that way with these levels of the nest itself, where I could feel the nest itself, and it changed from the beginning to the end. And I think that I need to remind myself and make the grace, maybe for other people, that it's not a singular experience, one and done. It actually changes according to our internal state. And then in that same sense of feeling the hand and the mind filamental part of things with the hand, I allowed myself to feel that internal living sense of myself, and then allow it to come out into the aura in the same way we felt with the hand. And then kind of playing with the breathing of that, coming back in and sitting with that and seeing what's that like now, and then letting that come back out into different parts of my aura. And sometimes I can suggest color to myself and see it, and sometimes that internal intelligence or what's coming through suggests color to me. And kind of playing with that kind of breathing while being in this sense, this deeper sense of self that then is in the aura, which sometimes feels very exposed, this this breathing. So playing with that, allowing the color and just kind of sensing my okayness with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
no goddess, no shoulds, not a can I, just kind of what's there, what shows me, what am I listening to on the inside that works very well on the outside, but can have this mixture of things without getting caught either inside or stuck outside. Hope that wasn't too much.
No, it's very clear. Three practical briefs. You offered number one. Anytime you engage in this practice, you will feel it different because your state will impact how you experience. Number two, as you explore through the different dimensions, don't see them as separate, as isolated. Let the space in between them be filled with presence, with life. And number three, let it unfold and evolve through the practice as your faculties suggest. Different awareness, different colors, different texture. So very helpful. Thank you.
Well, this wonderful practical application adventure began to turn up. And it was some of these different lives and different layers beginning to work together. Because when being introduced to the adaptive self, which I quite fell in love with because of the quality of resilience and shape-shifting, because we live in a multiple world and we meet multiple challenges and choices and situations. So what happened was the adaptive self went back to the image in the blue layer where the planetary qualities that we've established by our experience in our life, in our experience, therefore in our energy field. The adaptive self realized, oh, I can borrow any of these qualities or invite them in according to what is the next situation that I'm going to encounter, because you would need a different set of qualities to tackle an administrative challenge, to looking after your garden and your house or your family, to playing music or doing artwork, to dealing with a person who's going through a tough time. All these different situations would need completely different sets of qualities. And yet you are in your body and in your aura meeting all this. So I thought, thank God for the adaptive self, and thank God for having the ability to choose and deliberately pick, okay, Who do I want to invite on board today? What quality do I need to go into the next situation? So lots to play with.
That's wonderful, really. It feels both open-ended, creative, and filled with curiosity and discovery. So wonderful description of how to be into this, really building on what Beth said a few minutes ago. There isn't a should or a one way. There is discover for yourself, be experimental in the discovery. Thank you, Rita.
It felt very effective to all parts of the layers as well. Like one thing moving together and producing well-being and very positive as well. The feeling it was like energetic antibiotic, a new kind of antibiotic that keeps you more intact and more also sure and confident for yourself and for your abilities. And it also causes the need to open it more and put it more consciously in our energetic bodies, in our to practice it more and see the exploration where it goes. It's amazing. It's really amazing, positive.
Well, and the reason it's so effective in the way you're describing it, then, is because of the many other layers of practice that you're continually building. So you bring this sitting on top of all that you continue to do in these spaces. It has many linings to go through. It's possible that somebody will do it for the first time and they will say, well, I'm not sure it's effective yet. And the invitation is, come play with it more so you discover its effect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I got a very strong image of the puppet on the string. We've all seen that. There's this big puppet player, and there's this small theater for the children. And you're supposed to just look at the puppets. But everyone knows that there's this man operating the puppets. And by the characters they take on, he allows himself to be naughty, to be angry, to be whatever. But he himself actually is not part of the theater, but he is. But in this case, it's the other way around. It's a very small figure inside that gives the safety to adapt to different roles. And it's true, every human you meet, it evokes different roles if you're sensitive to that. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. The power and the beauty and the imagery you're adding to this is that we can feel the nested self is truly free, truly agentic, as I said in the narration. It's not captured by anything. A lot of time, we feel in life we are captured by something. What this affords us is that sense of, oh, I can pull back into myself. I have the freedom to be sovereign. I have the freedom to guide myself in the way and the direction and the manner I choose. So, friends, this was the exploration of the nested self, and we are looking forward to soon explore more of the inner conclave and the other lives within as we unfold and develop this process and this practice. Thank you. Anybody that joined us and you enjoyed this, please share with us your insight and your feedback and your experience. Come join our events, be part of the exploration. Until soon. Thank you. Along with our website at portalsofperception.org, Portals is also available on YouTube
and on all podcast platforms, as well as social media. You can become an active member and join the conversation in community events. And you can help us get the word out by liking this content and by sharing it with your friends.